I'm Jen Gruber with Inspired Horsemanship, working with Lucas, a 4-year-old Tennessee walking horse who I am starting under saddle. This is his second week of ground training and he is already accepting the bareback pad and the cinch in preparation for accepting the saddle. This is owned by Sarah and Brian Larson, and I am honored to start Lucas's journey under saddle, beginning with groundwork, accepting the bareback pad, accepting the saddle, to accepting a rider. I'm excited to share this journey of educating Lucas with all of you. Here I am throwing the lead rope rhythmically over Lucas's back. The motion of the rope on his back can simulate a human's legs and body when they get on his back for the first time. This movement of the rope is very scary to a horse, and the normal reaction can be to run away from it, as Lucas did the first time I tried it. Here Lucas is accepting it without running away, even if he doesn't look very calm or relaxed. This takes time and patience. This is what some natural horsemen call doing the dance. I am placing the lead rope over his head, neck, back, and hindquarters, moving his hindquarters and then his forequarters in a beautiful flowing dance movement. Lucas responds with licking and chewing and keeping his eyes focused on me. I continue repeating, throwing the rope over his back, neck, and legs. Repetition helps an unconfident and afraid horse in accepting and remembering that so far the rope hasn't eaten him yet. Here Lucas gets worried and needs to walk away from the scary movement of the rope. I continue to throw the rope over his back until he stops walking. He still isn't sure about it yet. I again do the dance with him, moving his hindquarters and then his forequarters. And then I reward him, allowing him to rest and take a deep breath. I continue all of this until I see Lucas come to an understanding that he is safe and comfortable. Again, using the rope, swinging it over his neck, back, and hindquarters, and over his legs, and seeing if at this time that he truly is accepting of it. Here I do the dance again. The first time I did this with Lucas, it terrified him, and he actually bucked and he moved away in fear. So he's come a long way since the first time I've tried this. Here I am using a stick and string, again rhythmically bringing it over his back and around his legs, waiting for him to accept it, to relax, to become brave, and to find confidence. Lucas isn't sure about all of this. His head is still up and he has a worried expression on his face, so I continue to do this till I see signs of relaxation. Lucas has come a long way in a short time in dealing with his fear of the stick and string. I am still looking for more signs of relaxation, but that will come in time and many repetitions to prove that he won't get hurt nor eaten. Horses normally will flee away from what they fear, and so in this, Lucas is showing that he is gaining more and more confidence. I continue his confidence building, adding a stick with a flag and a plastic bag. I rub the bag and flag all over his body, his head, between his ears, which is really scary, over his back, then rhythmically shaking it over his back, which makes a pretty scary noise. This is all new to Lucas. He is concerned but not running away from it. My goal for him is not to be afraid of the movement and the noise and to accept it like it is no big deal. Lucas is finally licking and chewing. I'm making sure that the flag isn't a concern to him around his tail and back legs, rubbing the flag all over that area.
So when this gets looser, he's tightened up his muscles, but he's not running.
I am now adding a tarp to his repertoire of new experiences. A tarp is a very scary object, both in size, shape, color, and sound. A tarp can simulate a water crossing or anything that could cause a horse to be concerned about walking over. Lucas was very brave and walked confidently over the tarp, even with me shaking the stick with the plastic bag. I rewarded Lucas for crossing the tarp and for his bravery with one of his favorite cookies. I continue Lucas's education by introducing the big, black, scary bag monster, which is pretty scary for Lucas. But as you can see, he is accepting it pretty well. He still isn't sure of the black monster that makes horrible noise, and I don't think he really likes it, but he isn't running away from it either. Make sure I give Lucas time to breathe and think, and I give him a lot of reassuring strokes and pats, waiting for him to lick and chew and to relax. When we work with horses, we need to remember to do things on both sides of the horse, both left and right sides. Here I'm repeating everything again. Working with the rope, the stick and string, the stick and flag, and now the bag helps build the confidence and bravery the horse needs to accept the next step in his training, which is the saddle.
Yep. Well, we're working on that. This is our second day. I'm just happy he's not running or kicking at me.
I am very happy with Lucas's progress today in all areas of accepting the human, accepting the bareback pad, accepting the tools, and accepting me working with the tools, and him still looking to me for reassurance, for his confidence, and for his safety. I make sure I reward Lucas for all his hard work so far. It strengthens our bond and our partnership. My friend Judy is here helping me in educating Lucas in introducing the big green ball for the first time. Each step in the education with the ball is a thoughtful progression. We make sure each step we take with Lucas that he can process it without fear. Judy uses the advancing and retreating methods, and we continue to look for signs that Lucas understands, becomes more relaxed and more confident as the movement of the ball goes around his body. Judy continues the progression with the green ball by bouncing it around his body. I keep an eye on Lucas's body language, watching for any signs he needs to run out of fear. And yes, he does get scared, but listens to my gentle and subtle wiggling of the rope, and he waits for me. Here is Lucas's first sign of relaxation with the big green ball. There's licking and chewing and actually looking curious for the first time. I love watching Lucas's confidence grow, and now he watches Judy as she moves around him, bouncing the ball. I love watching Lucas's expression of curiosity as Judy raises the ball overhead and Lucas touches it with his nose, and then she progresses to place the ball at his side, and I make sure afterwards to give him a loving, reassurant pat. We continue the training with the progression of the big green ball, with Judy raising it high up overhead. Lucas gets a little worried about it, but it is odd for a horse to see with his eyes and his ears a big green thing walking around him that high overhead. I stand there waiting for any signs of distress on his part or fear that causes him to run. As you can see from his expression, he's telling me, "Hey, Miss Jen, this is no big deal." As Judy places the big green ball on Lucas's side and on his back, he turns and he touches his nose to it, acknowledging the ball's presence in his personal space. Then Judy allows the big green ball to drop down at Lucas's side, and we watch again for any fear that might happen with that big movement of the ball. And again, Lucas acknowledges the presence of the ball with the touch of his nose. Judy then decides to play tag you're it by bouncing the ball onto Lucas and him looking at the ball like, what in the world is that? Remembering that repetition and consistency helps horses, especially young horses, gain confidence and to become more brave, Judy continues doing the same thing on both sides as she did before, bouncing the big ball, bringing it up onto his back and shoulders, and bouncing all around and bringing on top of his back. When Lucas shows signs of worry, I gently remind him with the wiggling of the rope to look at me for safety and for comfort. Then he looks at Judy and touches the ball again. Those are wonderful signs to me. Lucas is also bonding with Judy. As you can see, he looks to her for reassurance also with that big green ball on his back. It's just fun watching him gain in confidence and being brave. It's such a great day. The ball in this position on Lucas's back simulates when a rider is on his back, and the longer that Lucas can tolerate the ball on his back, the better for him for his emotions. And then with the ball bouncing off of his back, it also can simulate the rider coming down off of his back for the first time. Again, I make time for Lucas to breathe and to take in all that he is learning, and I give him a lot of reassuring pats and loves and time just to process it all. Again, I can't stress enough how important it is to repeat all these exercises, allowing time in between and allowing the horse to process it. And this is important because it's just such a scary thing to them, especially these young colts who have never seen probably big green balls. Here, Lucas got a little unconfident, but again, we're giving him time to process it. I reassure him with love and pats, and Judy doesn't take the ball off of his back until we see him stop his motion, his movement, and wait for him to breathe, show signs of relaxation, and then the ball will come off of his back. I just love Lucas. He's a 4-year-old Tennessee Walker, and I just love his curiosity. I love his personality. I love everything about him, and I'm so enjoying this process of accepting the bareback pad into accepting the saddle. And there's more to come.